Hi, I'm Chris Kepler, and welcome to Does This Happen to You? I'm an actor, voice actor, audiobook narrator, and writer. I love telling and sharing stories about the strange experiences my friends and I have while doing mundane things like grocery shopping. That's why this podcast features funny stories from fantastic writers about our daily anomalies, a micro audiobook about life and befuddlement just for you. This week, we have 3 essays from the Crypt by Alexander Adams, who you'll find at www.shamblesramble.com. And let's begin with Downing Street Cat has most stable job in politics. Larry, or a cat, as he is commonly known, is considered by Whitehall elite to have the most stable job in politics, after he was one of the few public figures to retain their position following a spate of high-profile resignations in recent weeks. In a statement earlier this week, Larry was quoted as saying, "Meow." Larry, the self-styled chief mouser to the cabinet office, has weathered the post-Brexit storm with impunity, outlasting many senior figures of British politics, including the resignation of his close friend David Cameron, whom critics have observed to have had Larry literally eating out of his hand at various points of his governance. Larry has also outlasted professional resigner Nigel Farage, who recently stepped down as party leader after a surprise victory for the Leave campaign. Nigel Farage, who replaced Nigel Farage as UKIP leader in 2010, is widely tipped to replace Nigel Farage as party leader. Chief Mouser Larry has often been praised by the establishment for his nonchalance regarding political parties and national crisis, maintaining a happy face throughout. Larry's disassociation from the political scene is only rivaled by Tim Farron, who has generally felt a bit left out and is currently ranked number 3 in most forgettable politicians, behind that other guy and the one with the glasses. Larry's career follows on from a brief stint in rehab for substance abuse at the Battersea Cats and Dogs Home, from which he left in 2011, and has been a campaigner for strict catnip control ever since. He follows in the footsteps of other chief mousers, including Humphrey, a vocal critic of the Falklands War during Thatcher's premiership, and the Munich Mouser, so called for her contribution to the security service in combating fascism in 1940s Europe. The trial continues. NHS in urgent plea for new magazines. The NHS has issued a plea for members of the public to donate magazines to their local practice to ease the suffering of patients. Visitors to NHS practices across the country currently must endure outdated literature, which many believe is contributing to a nationwide ennui epidemic reminiscent of the Great Yawn of 1930. I visited Royal Surrey County Hospital to discover just what kind of conditions some of the patients had to endure. Pike and Predator magazine, a Homes and Antiques issue from December 2015, and an assortment of out-of-date Grazia, Hello and Now magazines were scattered across coffee tables around the waiting room. None were being read, save a copy of Good Housekeeping from May last year by a rather tired-looking gentleman. He later died from boredom. An orderly described how just last week a patient broke down in tears upon rifling through all the available magazines in the waiting room and finding none of interest. She cited a severe shortage of donations from the general public for the underperformance in hospitals. What we need is for more people to bring in their old magazines when they come to the doctors. The NHS has been increasingly missing its targets when it comes to patient satisfaction in the waiting room, and with the government cutting funds to the National Service, it is clearly becoming the public's duty to entertain themselves. The current supply is provided mostly by old ladies, probably. No one has ever seen who leaves the magazines, and they are loath to admit any supernatural suspicions. Whilst there is evidence that ghosts may be responsible, it is unlikely that they would be the source, as nobody enjoys being in a waiting room when they're alive, let alone after death. However, the magazines are clearly from another place and time. No ghosts were available for comment. And our last story, The Idiot's Guide to Cooking Dinner for a Date. Congratulations! Somehow you've pulled a not-so-lucky lady and invited her around for dinner. But time's got away from you. You've only got half an hour until she arrives, and you've got as much experience with cooking as Joseph Fritzl has with responsible parenting. What are you going to do? Fear not, my oblivious friend. If you follow this advice, she'll be eating out of your hand, assuming you don't have a plate. If you don't have a plate, I'm surprised you have your life together enough to meet girls in the first place. Step 1. Scope out the kitchen. Okay, first things first. Check the kitchen for what you can use. All right, here we go. Ta-da! You've got half an onion, 1 new potato, and some Leon parents. The only thing in the fridge is some Chinese food. It's so moldy, it's started criticizing you for walking past that charity worker without acknowledging him. In a situation like this, you've got 2 choices. Either explain to her that you're on a new diet, which requires you to give up protein, vitamins, and self-respect, or run to the shops before they close. Step 2. Realize it's Sunday and the shops closed half an hour ago. Shit. Step 3. Stall for time. Why would you even plan a dinner party for a Sunday? Who does that? Now you've got no choice but to stall for time. Hi, babe. How's it going? What? Nah, nothing's wrong. Was just wondering if you could pick up some wine to go with the food. Yeah, red's good. Make sure to go to the Majestic, though. Yeah, I know the nearest one's about 2 hours away. But I want to make it special, and the wine I've got is mostly for medical purposes. It's not even technically wine. There was a printing error on the label. Okay, cool. Thanks, babe. Yeah, see you soon. Bye. Step 4. Remember, you've got that bottle of wine. Begin to formulate a plan. Yeah, this'll work. You're feeling good about it now. A bit of wine, a handful of these. This is looking good. Step 5. Kill yourself. Eat a handful of painkillers. Wash it down with wine. If you're dead, she can't be disappointed when you haven't cooked anything. Lucky you've got so many pills lying around. Why do you have so many pills again? Step 6. The last resort. Oh dear, you're only dead inside? Okay, no worries. Looks like we'll have to use our last resort. Look there, under the piles of Kleenex and that porn parody Schindler's Fist. Could it be? Yes, it is. A takeaway menu for that place down the street. Step 7. Acceptance. Shuffle through the bags of rubbish near the door and take the packet from the delivery guy. At least when she arrives, you'll have something for dinner now. Hopefully she likes it. You decide to try some of it before she arrives. Step 8. Realization. Wake up the next day in a pool of filth. Your nose is covered in a white powder, hardened by dried sweat. You take a few moments to realize what happened. You've been high for the last 2 days. You hallucinated the whole thing, didn't you? You don't have to respond. I know it's the truth. It's okay. I'm not even really here, but I'm the only friend you've got left. Hey, I know what to cheer you up. Let's watch Schindler's Fist again. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the story, let me know and share it with your friends. Follow me at Chris KK Aria on Twitter or Chris K. Kepler on Facebook, or check out my website, www.chriskepler.com.